Okay. Okay. So we take from the environment lot of things, and we what we give back to the environment, that's a question. We take from the nature lot of things for our existence, for our benefit, and what we give back to the nature, that is a question all over the world, in every country, in every company, everywhere. And you've seen even in the last class that I have dealt with several selected countries, what these different countries are doing for environmental protection, for accounting for environment, and what laws they have passed. They have passed different laws. In each country, you'll find a lot of laws have been passed, because simply ethics doesn't help, simply principle does not help. You need laws also, and that laws will make everything standardized. The laws will make everything standardized, so you need standard also. Once I told you that the word principle and standard, if you compare, standard is more powerful, and so we go for accounting standard, we go for different standards. So the standards are given by the laws, backed by the laws, and different countries there are laws. India also there are laws, and it will depend on your study area, scope, topic, your interest, which topic you are going to. Yeah, I'm admitting from waiting list. Thank you, Nitu. I'm admitting at the same time. Now it's very nice here to admit, very comfortable for me for some time. But after I start sharing, there will be some problem. So let me wait for that. So this was, some standards, some rules, some laws have to be there. Some laws have to be there. I have shared you some laws. So I've told you that every country has to follow some laws. The government has to follow the laws, rules. Individual have to follow the rules, and the companies have to follow some laws. And these laws, these rules, they have to follow, and that is recorded. That has to be recorded. There is environment accounting. But today I'll not take anything on environmental accounting as such. My topic today is something else, but the last few classes have made today's topic easier. That's why I dealt with other topic, environment accounting, in so detail. 4 5 classes I've taken in so details. Why? Because I know that is the base, and that will help you to understand very easily today's topic. And today's topic is environmental audit. Environmental audit. So see, as commerce student, you have already learned what is audit. I need not tell you what is audit, what the systems of audit, what are the benefits of audit, what are the features of audit, what are the characteristics of audit, or what are the advantages of audit, and what are the methods of audit. You've already learned these things in your BCom courses, MCom courses. But today we are applying these rules, this formula of auditing in environmental accounting. So you can understand what I'll be saying. I'll be going to say what I am sure you'll be understanding. That's what I'm going to say. They have to follow the rules, and the auditor has to find whether rules have been followed or not. The company has to follow the protocol, environmental protocol, and the auditors will find whether it is all right or not. So the question is here of checking. You can say checking, investigating whether the rules are being followed or not. And that is actually environmental audit. That is environmental audit. But if this much is the subject, then matter ends here in 2 3 4 5 minutes, it's finished. But we shall extend it, we shall study the same thing from different angles. We shall see how environmental audit is defined, and who defines best. But you see, if you go by the definitions, all the definitions will be of the same type, almost the same type. Same thing will be available in the essence, in the depth of the definition. Same thing will be available, that's sure. But still, we shall now study the definition one or two, and we shall analyze. See, I have taken here only few points of every item, and I'll just open the topic to you. And now it is your way, your opportunity, your matter to search it out. And in every country, there are environmental auditing. Not only in India, in every country you'll find this environmental auditing. These things are there. And before that, let us see how it is defined. So this is my topic today. This is my topic today. Let me see if anyone has come there or not. Let me put it here. I think I'll understand here if anyone comes or not. So environmental audit is the today's topic. Environmental audit is very much related to environmental accounting. And for this reason, actually, I was given environmental audit to teach you. But out of my own choice, I've taken environmental accounting before this because I know without the idea of accounting, how can I understand auditing? That's why I took it. In my this session, I'll cover up more than this actually, like what is environmental audit. I'll cover up that. Features of environmental audit, objectives of environmental audit. I'll be sharing with you the PDF files. Don't worry about it, and you can also search it. And if I don't share, then you may not be able to remember all these things. But if I share those things, you can go through those PDF files, and at the same time, you can search out anything which comes to your mind. So I'll tell you what are the stages. Richika Keria, okay, waiting room. Okay, what are the stages of environmental auditing? I'll tell you stages. You'll be finding it very interesting. If you have found environmental accounting interesting, so this will also be interesting. And there is not much difference is there. That was accounting and this is auditing. But 90% things are the materials the same. It has to be like when you start study auditing, suppose you are an auditor, you know that whether accounts have been properly maintained or not, whether accounts give true and fair view of the profit and loss account or not, whether accounts give true and fair view of the balance sheet, like that balance sheet gives, all these things you have studied. So whether books of accounts are properly maintained, whether vouchers are properly maintained. So here also in environmental auditing, we shall find out whether the particular law is properly followed or not, whether the particular protocol has been properly followed or not. And one difference I have to tell you here, that in environmental accounting and other accounting, there are gulf of difference, you know it. There are gulf of difference that you know. And similarly, there are some challenges in environmental accounting that you already know and you are going to study also. Similarly, in environmental audit also, there are lot of challenges and lot of varieties are there. You have to accept that. See, environmental auditing in one company may be different from other company, one country may be different from other country, although the main common point is environment. But there are different things, products are different, services are different, and all these things. I'll be sharing with you some interesting points here. I think you'll be loving it. And today, along with environmental auditing, I'll be sharing something else also. But I confess that it's a very vast topic, very vast topic. I have to admit, you also admit it. So I'll be dealing with the benefits of environmental audit. These things are in your course for coursework. I'll be also pointing out to certain important qualities of environmental auditor. Environmental auditor, what the qualities auditor should have. And I'll touch one particular ISO. Do you know about ISO? I'll be giving some 5 to 10 minutes on ISO. What is ISO? See, I told you about accounting standard, FASB, IASB, IFRS, Indian Accounting Standard. All these things are standards of accounting. And there is standards for auditing also. Dear students, Institute of Chartered Accountants of India have set lots of standards for auditing standards. But that is not my topic today. And today I'm talking about ISO. ISO stands for International Organization for Standardization. But standard is there. So I'll be talking a little bit about it, and I have to cover up one particular thing, not cover up, just touching. Environmental audit in India specifically is given in your syllabus. So this is the theme, this is the content I'll be covering up. If I cannot cover right now, I'll be taking later on. But these are the things coming, and this will make you minimum equipped, at least minimum equipped to study the matter and to drag the topic to your topic. It may be accounting, it may be auditing, it may be only environmental analysis, or it may be, say, tourism, it may be heritage tourism. Anywhere you can pull this environmental auditing. Earlier, I told you about environmental accounting. that you can pull to your topic. But along with that, you have to include environmental auditing, because accounting without auditing is not having not credibility, no, not meaningless. It is not only meaningless, accounting without audit, you know all these things. So Canadian Environmental Protection Act, there's a Canadian Environmental Protection Act. See, I've copied the whole definition here because I have seen this definition give the full-fledged idea about what is environmental auditing. And just like this, in like in auditing, you know, the definition given is Spicer, Pegler, you have learned in BCom. It gives the full idea about auditing. Here also I found amongst lots of definitions. This definition I found all inclusive almost, but it's not comfortable to read from here. I've segregated it here. See, I have segregated the points here. Environmental audits are internal evaluation by companies and government agencies. This definition is given by Canadian Environmental Protection Act of. So what they're saying, first thing they have said, this is environmental audits are internal evaluation by companies, internal evaluation and government agencies. So you have to go for some internal evaluation. What type of evaluation? That has to be pointed out. What type of evaluation? See, I have segregated from the definition number one to verify their compliance with legal requirements as well as their own internal policies and standards. This is point number one, where why you are going for evaluation. What you are going for evaluation? You are going to evaluate the compliance. There are several laws, whether these laws are properly complied with by the company or not, whether the internal policies and standards set by the company in connection with environment are complied with or not. Because simply making a rule is meaningless unless it is not followed. And that's why you have to see whether these are followed or not. So you understand this thing. And they are conducted by companies, government agencies, and other on voluntary basis. There's also a point. See, Canada is saying about voluntary basis. Companies and government, they organize these things on voluntary basis, whether these things are being followed or not, voluntary basis. But I'll share with you a very interesting point here. In 1992, 93, during this time, you should be proud to be Indian. India is the first country in the world to make environmental audit compulsory. It's a fact I'm sharing with you. So I'll be going for detail later on. Just but remember that India is the first country to make environmental auditing compulsory for certain organizations, carried out by either outside consultants or employees of the company or facility from outside or work unit being audited. So you see, and who will go for environmental audit? See, in case of statutory audit, you know, financial audit, chartered accountants is qualified for that. But in case of environmental auditing, it can be done by the employees of the company, or there may be some outside consultants. There are a lot of, you know, consultancy house agencies. They can go for environmental audit of your organization. You can hire them. Please do the environmental audit. You know, you may say, sir, if it is not mandatory, why should I do? Yes, dear students, sometimes there are certain things which are not mandatory also, even if not mandatory. I told you India has made it mandatory. That's a different thing for certain companies. But maybe from for a particular organization, it is not compulsory, not mandatory. But still, dear students, it is better you do it because it will help you. Sometimes you call some electrician to your residence and ask the electrician to check all the electric points, whether these things are having any loose connection or not. You sometimes ask some electrician to check your office room, your college office or classes, whether electricity or other connectivities are all right or not. This is also some sort of auditing. So that is actually for safety reason. It may not be always compulsory. Audits can identify compliance problems, weaknesses, and management system and areas of risk. So if we go for the environmental audit, then we can understand what is our problem in compliance. Suppose there is a law. We have to follow the law, but you are not following the law. If you're not following the law, what is the problem you are not following? You cannot ignore the law, because if you cannot follow the law, cannot comply with the law, then a time will come you have to pay penalty, and that penalty will be coming to the debit side of profit and loss statement, and that is the charge against the profits. You shall not agree with this, isn't it? You shall not admit that your profit be reduced that way also. By not following the rules, you are paying penalty. So you have to save the penalty. So please comply with. So whether your company is complying with or not, and whether there is some problem, to know all these things, you go for environmental audit. And then what are the weaknesses in management system? You go for environmental auditing and find out whether your management system is having any weakness anywhere. You can find that. If those weaknesses are spotted out, you can solve, you can remove those weaknesses. So this is also important. It may be in a company, it may be in a office, it may be in an educational institution, it may be in a government institution, department, or anywhere it can be applied. I'm just giving you the idea, you apply in your own style, not necessarily in a company only. And the findings will be after all auditing is over, you shall put the findings in a report. And dear students, if you have done chartered accountancy, this thing articles about training anybody, and even if you have also seen in BCom in auditing that there is a format of audit report. There is a specific format of audit report, and there is specific format of audit report, especially in companies. These are, you have to follow that. In environment also, there are formats of audit report, but there is not one single format. The format may vary from organization to organization, company to company, all these things. It may be vary from country to country. And environmental auditing, I have, after analyzing the definition, I have put it into two. All these things I have grouped into two parts. One is diagnostic examination, other is operational tune up. See, sometimes you might have seen that some of your known people, they go for medical checkup, whole body checkup, like that. Medical checkup, they go. Why? They go for diagnostics, exams, there whether any problem is there in the body or not, physical body or not. Similarly, through environmental auditing, you go for some diagnostic exams, what is happening in your company, in your department, in your organization. You go for some diagnostic, and at the same time, you go for tuning up. Tuning up. What is tuning up? You do some such thing which will put your company in a particular standard, in a particular go on system. So, because if you do not examine, similarly, suppose sometimes you go for medical checkup and find out what deficiency you're having in your human body, and then you can ultimately tune up that. Suppose one is having thyroid problem, then he or she can take medicine, or he or she can, for tuning up, can go for yoga. Particular yoga is there for tuning up your body by removing thyroid problems. So that tuning up. So if you do not do any auditing, any checkup, how can you do it? It's very simple to understand. So I have divided this in two groups, and next is diagnostic exam. What is done in diagnostic exam in businesses? See, I have again grouped this diagnostic exam into three parts. One is compliance, another is greening, other is management system. In these three things, you have to go for diagnostic examination, whether accounts laws are being complied or not, whatever laws are there. When you go for auditing of a particular company, see, company means company, but there are varieties types of company: manufacturing company, trading company, and all companies do not manufacture the same thing. There are some hazardous company also manufacturing different things. Like I told you about Bhopal gas, this massacre. So this gas, those companies, battery companies, Union Carbide was there. So what type of company you are going to audit? You connect that company with the specific laws applicable to that company. That is your method to find out, and then you check. That's why I told you I cannot give you a specific format of environmental auditing like that. You, which organization of auditing? that organization is doing what, and which laws are connected with that company. Find out, make a list, and then you see whether it is complied with or not. And then greening, you understand, greening that they also told you is very, very important. Green account, green auditing, green audit, all these things are being done or not, and the management systems are proper or not. These things you have to see. And actually, forget about greening, we can, two main types you can say in environmental auditing. One is compliance audit and other is management performance audit. This we can classify broadly, compliance and management performance. These two things are there in environmental auditing if you go by classification. And what are the features of environmental auditing? Features, I've noted a very simple way. If you want to study, you can find a lot more points here. So features, number one feature, assessing compliance with relevant statutory and internal requirements. I've just now said this is the feature. You have to assess whether relevant statutory requirements and internal requirements are complied with or not. This is done in environmental auditing. This way you can understand this is environmental auditing. Features give you the idea to understand, to identify a particular point. How can you identify it is environmental audit or not? By these features. Number one is whether compliance with relevant statutory and internal requirements are there or not, proper compliance or not. That thing is assessed here. Then facility the management control of environmental practices, whether management is properly practicing environmental issues or not, that is facilitating. So running out of time, we'll be having 10 minutes time, will not be able to complete here. Don't worry, I'll give you new link after 10 minutes. It starts up. First, don't worry, I'll be giving another link. Don't worry, it will take 1 minute. Then promoting good environmental management, whether you can promote good and promoting good environment. The environmental auditing has a feature of good environmental management. This can be promoted, and maintaining credibility with the public. That's the most important thing. A company, lot of things are given in 135 section 134 of Companies Act 2013 of corporate social responsibility, that you have to do something for the society. So every company has that responsibility. You have to have a bridge between your company and the public at large. That bridge can be best maintained by environmental protection, environmental management, and whether these things are properly being done or not are decided, are identified by environmental audit. Then how much we can go? Okay, objectives of environmental auditing. See, to determine how well environmental management system or equipment are performing. This is the objective, to verify the compliance. It's almost same. You're finding almost similar things are there. And minimize the human exposure to risk from environmental health and safety problems. See, this is very, very important. Environmental audit has the objective to minimize human exposure to risk. Very, very important. Human exposure to risk. Now, you cannot confine this particular point of environmental auditing to a business organization only. This is common to every organization, as I started with. Whichever organization you are auditing, you can go by whether these things are there or not, what they are doing for avoidance or minimization of human risk. You can ask this question in your questionnaire. I don't know which topic you'll be taking for PhD, but I know you'll be making a long questionnaire. There you can write about whether human risk is minimized and what these things are there or not. So this is also a point of environmental auditing. You may not directly go for PhD on environmental auditing, but your topic you can include these points. So that's why I'm discussing these things in details. And these are the stages of environmental auditing. First, you have to make a schedule. Schedule, the A I have written is not A, it's the wrong printed, it's audit. Schedule the audit. You make the schedule when you are going for auditing. What is the timing? Then plan the audit. You have to make a good plan. Then you start conducting the audit and then develop a audit report and then action plan. And after that, this is not over. You go by follow-up action. Because in financial audit, you have seen you go for auditing, then submit the audit report to various organization, company law board, then ROC, register of companies, then in-company authorities, and many, many, many places. So that is the thing. And accordingly, you take action, whatever. But here, you have to have some planning that you shall go for follow-up, whether government or other authorities makes it mandatory or not. You conduct the audit, find the report, and go for follow-up, and find out the loopholes and go for rectification. So benefits, see what are the benefits? Help to meet legal requirements. Same thing I'm coming. I've just point out this way I've segregated. Then meeting specific statutory requirements, demonstration of being environmentally responsible. So if you have conducted environmental audit in your organization, then you can write in your balance sheet that our company is environmentally responsible company. And this one sentence will act like anything in your publicity, in your building reputation, because this environmental friendliness everybody expects. Demonstration of environmental policy, you can demonstrate your environmental policy in your reports, in your financial reports also, and environmental report also. Understanding environmental interaction of product, services, and activities. Ensuring environmental risk are managed appropriately or not. It can develop implementing ISO 14001. I'll be talking to you after this session about ISO. ISO 14,000, you please remember for our purpose, very important. Improving environmental performance and saving money ultimately. See, ultimately, if you go for environmental audit, it will help you to save money also. I told you, it will help you to eliminate the penalties, accident, other things. If you go for auditing, then suppose you have gone for auditing and there's no problem in your organization. But suppose you have not gone for environmental auditing and there are some accident prone items are there, hazards are there, and there was some accident, there are some workmen who are wounded, injured, or anything might have happened to your factory building, and then you go for paying monetary compensation to every sector, every. So instead of that, if you go for environmental auditing first, then you can see what is your weak point, what is your weakness, what action you have to take, what rectification to do. So it is proved that it can save money ultimately. And these are the qualities of environmental auditing. Must be they have the quality of environmental auditor. What are the qualities? He must have ethics. Remember, ethics. Without ethics, he cannot conduct all these things. So very, even in financial auditing, suppose some manipulation is there, may not matter much. But suppose in environmental auditing, you have asked an electrician to check your electric points and he has not worked ethically, suppose. And then there is some loose connection, you can understand what may happen. You understand, just I always joke with my children, with small children, that what is the most dangerous city in the world? I'm also asking, which is the most dangerous city in the world? The answer is electricity. So I'm talking about example about electricity, but ethics, without ethics, if someone is going for environmental auditing, lots of problem may be there, dear friends. And open-mindedness, you have to open-mindedness. Whatever is problem in the organization, the environmental auditor should openly speak out to the management or officials and say, this is the problem, this is your problem, you please rectify. So open-mindedness. Perceptiveness, you should have perceptiveness. Perception should be clear and you should be very much tactful, because in every audit, you have to apply some tax. And after that, I don't know whether it will be cut up or not right now. If it cuts up, I'll take the next one. Dear students, please, anyone may tell me whether it was all right or not. You're hearing me? Please say yes. One person going on properly.
Yes, sir.
Okay, fine. See, this ISO, this is not included in the syllabus. Here is not mentioned, but I have identified, I have studied these things, and I have seen. If it cuts up, don't get confused. I'll be giving you two more minutes are there, and then I'll take up with a new link, because it's very interesting. Don't let it be left out for next week. So ISO 14001. This I'll be dealing with next class. I'll be starting next session after 2 minutes. I'll be starting these things. So what is ISO? I'll be telling you what is ISO. You must have learned in several occasions ISO 9000 and certified. You must have seen in some organizations it is written ISO certified. But today I shall discuss with little bit what is ISO and when ISO was formed and what is the function of ISO. What are the ISO standards and in which country it's having headquarters, and how many standards they have followed. All these things. I'm coming with the next video. Just let me continue here. 1 minute only. 1 minute 39 seconds. 30 seconds are there. So ISO 14001 is very much related to environmental auditing. Dear students, remember there are lots of 20, 30,000 standards ISOs. Like if you ask me, sir, how many IFRS is there? I told you there 17 IFRS are there, then 41 international accounting standards are there. So what about ISO? ISO is not accounting standard. It is International Organization for Standardization. I don't know how they put it. It could be IOS, but they're saying ISO. Anyway, chalta hai. So I'll be talking about ISO very soon, and thousands of ISOs are there. And I have picked up one particular ISO which is specifically connected with environmental management, and I'll be sharing with 10 ISOs which are connected with business. And why I've taken this extra point? Because might be sometimes in your business research, in your commerce research, you may click those 10 points sometimes. So I'll be sharing that also with you. This may help you. So 1 minute still, I am having one less than 1 minute. Don't worry, let it be off automatically. So I'll be talking about with ISO just now. And actually in ISO, not specifically mentioned how the auditing has to be conducted, because I told you huge number of organizations there, huge number of products, services are there, huge number of acts are there in different countries, different types